You know what nobody tells you about witnessing genius. It doesn't announce itself with trumpets. It doesn't wait for the perfect lighting or the ideal moment. Sometimes genius walks into your life wearing scuffed shoes, looking so small and fragile that your first instinct is to protect it, not expect anything from it. I'm Linda Kowalski. Back in 1988, I was a janitor at the Los Angeles Memorial Sports Arena. Minimum wage, night shifts, invisible to most people. The kind of person who empties trash cans while history happens around her. But on September 17th, 1988, during Michael Jackson's Bad World Tour, I watched something that still gives me chills 36 years later. And I'm telling you right now, what you think happened that night, you don't know the half of it. 20,000 people went silent, completely silent, in an arena built for noise. And it all started with one drunk idiot who made the worst decision of his life. Let me paint you the picture properly, because the sanitized versions you've read online, they skip the details that matter. It was the second LA show. I'd walked the first night, and even from the loading docks and back hallways, you could feel the energy. Michael Jackson wasn't just famous in 1988. He was a force of nature. Thriller had changed the entire world. Bad was proving he wasn't a one-album wonder. But here's what people forget. He was also the most criticized, scrutinized, whispered about person on the planet. I remember earlier that week, I was cleaning the rehearsal space, this windowless room deep in the arena's basement that reminded me of those old Motown studios I'd seen in magazines. Worn carpet, that specific smell of old coffee and equipment that's been pushed hard. Michael had been there earlier, and someone had left a towel on the floor. It had makeup on it. The amount of foundation shocked me at first, until I understood. Stage lights aren't kind. They expose everything. He needed armor, just like the rest of us. He's just happened to be Mac and Max Factor. That night, September 17th, I was assigned to section 114, stage left. Usually, janitors stay completely out of sight during shows, but they needed extra security coverage, so I was stationed at an exit tunnel, basically told to stand there and make sure nobody came through who shouldn't. From where I stood, I could see everything. The stage, the crowd, Michael's entry points. The show was electric. Wannabe starting something opened like a bomb going off. The audience wasn't just watching, they were possessed. It happened during human nature. This song, if you know it, is soft, intimate. The lights go down. Michael's voice drops to almost a whisper. It's the moment in the show where 20,000... Nobody moved. I'm telling you, 20,000 people turned to stone. 5 seconds of silence. 10 seconds. 15. Michael opened his eyes. He was crying. Not sobbing, but tears were running down his face, cutting lines through his makeup. Then someone in the upper deck started clapping. Slow claps. One person. Then another. Then the entire arena exploded. Not cheering. Not screaming. Roaring. Like something primal had been unlocked. People were standing on their chairs. The woman next to me, I didn't even know her name, grabbed my arm and said, "Did you see that? Did you feel that?" I did. Michael wiped his face, smiled that shy smile he had, and said into the microphone, "I'm sorry. I needed to remember where I came from." The band kicked back in. Beat It started. The show went on. But it wasn't the same show anymore. Something had shifted. I found out later that the Heckler tried to leave during Billie Jean and got booed so aggressively by his own section that security had to escort him out for his own safety. Not because they cared about Michael being disrespected, though they did, but because he'd interrupted something sacred, and the crowd wanted blood. The ripple effect. That moment, that 90-second choice to stop everything and sing from his core, it changed me. I was 34 years old, a janitor, invisible. I'd spent my whole life waiting for permission to be more than what I was. Permission to go back to school. Permission to write the stories I had in my head. Permission to matter. Watching Michael that night, I realized genius doesn't wait for permission.
and neither should I. 3 months later, I enrolled in night classes, got my GED, then an associate's degree, started writing, really writing, the stories about the people nobody sees, the janitors, the stagehands, the invisible ones who witness history. This story, the one I'm telling you right now, it's part of a book I'm finishing, 36 years after that night.
Here's what Michael taught me that night, whether he meant to or not. Genius doesn't wait for permission. But also, genius doesn't require perfection. You know what I mean? We think of Michael as flawless, the perfect dancer, the perfect performer. But that night, singing Who's Loving You, his voice cracked, his hands shook, his tears messed up his makeup. And it was perfect because of the imperfection. The cracks are where the light gets in. Someone smarter than me said that, but I didn't understand it until that moment. Michael's genius wasn't that he never showed weakness. It was that he transformed weakness into strength, used vulnerability as a tool. That's the lesson I've tried to carry for 36 years. When my students, I teach English now at a community college, when they're afraid to share their writing because it's not good enough, I tell them about that night. I tell them about the most famous entertainer on the planet stopping mid-concert, kicking off his shoes, and singing with tears running down his face. I tell them that moment, not Billie Jean or Thriller, is the one I still dream about. Because it was real. There's a YouTube channel I found recently, at Michael Jackson Untold Legend. They get it. They understand that the moonwalk and the glove and the videos, those are the headlines. But the story, the real story, that's in the moments between the headlines. That's in a drunk Heckler making an ass of himself and accidentally giving Michael a reason to remind 20,000 people who he actually was. That's in the barefoot boy from Gary who never stopped trying to prove he deserved to be in the womb. That's in the 90-second choice to strip everything away and bet on the one thing that had never failed him, the voice. The untold legacy isn't the record sales or the awards. It's the janitor who started singing again. It's the security guard who went home and pulled out